puppies that I don't know yet. So let's see. This is Raja. Raja, are you there? I think Raja's there, but maybe muted. And then Joy.
Yes.
Hi. And what's your puppy's name?
My puppy's name is Matcha.
Matcha. Have we met Matcha yet?
No, we were supposed to start the March 30th class, so this
Monday.
Monday. Yeah.
Oh my God, how cute. Hey, baby. How old is it? He or she?
It's a she, and she is 15 weeks.
Oh boy. All right. Super cute. And she's a golden doodle?
She's a mini Irish doodle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mini Irish doodle. So
Yes.
she's Irish setter and poodle, but a mini version?
Yes.
Wow. Awesome. I think we had another Irish doodle, but I don't think a mini one. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to, I mean, so far we only have 2 new puppies. And so here, again, we're supposed to have some other people join, but if that's the case, then this is going to be really great for you guys because it's going to be kind of, you know, custom just for you. And oftentimes, this is why we don't teach potty training in our group class, because oftentimes it is so specific to you and what's going on and what's happening and all of that. So Raja, if you guys would like to be, if you want to work specifically with your issues, then you can unmute anytime you want and we'll talk with you also. Okay, so how long have you had Matcha?
We've had her about a month and a half now.
Okay, and how's it going so far?
It's going good. So we actually had her, so we live in an apartment complex with a lot of dogs and puppies. So the vet had told me to not take her to go potty outside until 2 weeks after her last round of vaccines, which was about a week and a half ago. So next Monday is when he said we can start taking her out.
So you've had 3, so tell me how old she is again?
She's 15 weeks.
Okay, and she's had 3 sets of vaccinations? She has, but he said wait 2 weeks after that even?
After that, yeah.
And has she had rabies?
She had the rabies vaccine, yes.
Okay.
Had that
and it's
this last time.
Okay. And so are you saying that she hasn't been out at all since then?
She's been, so we've taken her on a few walks, but he said to like avoid any area where other dogs have gone, which is essentially everything that's right next to us. Like our whole neighborhood is filled with dogs.
Right.
So we haven't been able to like potty train her outside. We've taken her on walks and stuff, but we've been doing pad training on the pads.
Okay.
She actually did really well when we first got her. Within like a week and a half or 2, she was completely going on the pads. If we were in a different place or something, she would wait until we put the pads down and she'd go on the pads. But then she got a UTI 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And so that whole week of like the antibiotics and just us figuring it out and getting to the vet, I think just threw all of the training out of the window. Because I mean, she was going so like 30, 40 times a day. But so now she just finished her antibiotics a few days ago and her frequency of urination has definitely gone down. So now we're just kind of at the point where we're trying to get her back on the pad / trying to figure out how to transition her into going out now. It's been, yeah, she's kind of like at a, I don't know, 30-70 where 30% of the time she'll go on the pads now. And
so you go on the pads, you mean, and then 30% she won't go on the pads or go outside, or she'll go on the floor?
I would say 30% going on the pads, and then and it's mostly in the daytime, like first 4 or 5 hours of her day, she's great. And then after that, she's always a lot more excited in the afternoon, evening, and that's when she just kind of goes everywhere.
On the floor, inside? On
the floor, yeah.
And so, okay, so Monday is the day that you're supposed to be able to take her out?
Yes.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have a different opinion. We're definitely ready to start taking her out now.
I mean, it just, you know, again, I'm not a vet. However, I have been potty training puppies for 15 years. So there's that. But if it were my puppy, After 3 sets of vaccinations, and you're really close to Monday, I would go ahead and take her out.
Okay.
Because we need to get this potty training stuff going. You know,
Yes, I agree.
and she's gonna, and you know, I really think that she's safe at this point. I mean, you know, yes, the 3 sets of vaccinations, that's awesome. It's highly unlikely that anybody in your apartment complex doesn't have a rabies vaccination.
Right.
So at this point, I would feel comfortable. So 2 weeks is very cautious after the 3 sets. That's that's being overly cautious, I think.
Okay.
But again, I understand why vets have to do that, right? They're trying to be very careful. So yes, but now we got to go.
Right, I agree.
And one of the things is that obviously we want to. They will 100% become addicted to pee-pee pads. So how big do we think she's going to get?
They told us 25 to 35 pounds is the range. She was the smallest in her litter. And she's only grown about like 3 or 4 pounds since we've gotten her. So.
Okay. So in other words, you don't want her to go inside anymore ever at all.
No.
That's the goal, I mean.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there are some dogs that the smaller they are and people live in high rises or whatever, and they go, this is fine with me. I want this forever, which is totally fine too. That's just not usually what we do. Okay. And so here's the deal. And you're crate training her?
So we were, but ever since we've all been at home, we haven't, she only goes in the crate to sleep at night. And so that was actually one of my questions too, is should we just pretend like we're still going to work and leaving her in the crate or not?
Yes, you should. I mean, it doesn't have to be for as long as you would be going to work, but 100% yes. And everybody, we've been talking about this for every single class we've been doing. 100% yes, you should be putting her in the crate while you are home still.
Okay.
That's going to help us very much in day school, but also it is a very, very important skill for them to be able to be in a crate when there's other stuff going on. You know, when you decide to take her to Airbnbs or pet-friendly hotels and things like that, she's going to have to be in a crate in the hotel room while you go to dinner or whatever, right? So she needs to be able to be with stuff happening with her and be quiet and settled in the crate. It's if you have that skill, you'll be so happy. Okay. The other thing is that you must leave her completely alone in the house, in the crate, and go away. It's some, you know, it doesn't have to be huge, but there has to be increments of time to do that, because we're all going to go back to reality at some point. And if we do not practice this, we're going to be in big trouble. She's going to be like, well, what do you mean? So look, if you can just do it twice a day for 15 minutes or something like that, then that's fine. But she's got to learn to be alone. She has to. We're going to have some dogs with some serious separation anxiety if we don't do this. I mean, this is a big deal. So she has to do that. But the reason I asked in the first place is because the crate is a really great potty training tool. And that's because typically they don't want to go in their crate, right? That's why we decide on a certain size, because we want it to be just long enough. Oh, sorry, it says my internet. Oh, okay, I'm back. We want it to be just long enough, tall enough for her to stand up without hitting her head, and just big enough for her to turn around comfortably and maybe stretch out a little bit. But the idea is for them not to have a big space to be able to go over here and go potty and then get away from it, right? That's the whole idea of a crate training, because they will hold it. So now when you have the unfortunate incident of having a UTI, sometimes they start having accidents in the crate and things like that. Did she do that? Did she have accidents in the crate? No.
I think maybe once. Yeah, that's why we were at first hesitant to take her to the vet, because she would still sleep through the night and not go in the crate. But then after a few days, it got real bad. But no, she never went in the crate even.
Okay, so that's good. I mean, even, you know, nighttime is different because it gets real dark and metabolism slows down. It's real quiet and all that stuff. So it usually is different. That is sometimes how we can tell that they have a UTI, though, because they'll have accidents in weird places that they never had accidents before. But anyway, let's all keep our fingers crossed that is over and not happening anymore. So this is a way, because at this point right now, the most important thing for her is she's got to learn to hold it, because she's not holding it right now. She doesn't have to, right? Because the pee-pee pads are there. And so this is an important deal for her to start to learn that what she is doing is holding it through the night. Yay, at least she's doing that. That's good. But we now have to start having her hold it during the day for increments of time. And that, again, is what the crate is really good for. So now, are you taking her out now you're going to start taking her outside. So start taking her out on a schedule. So so you haven't, right? You have not been taking her out to potty outside at all, correct?
No, no.
Okay. All right. So I would say that for me, that would be okay to start doing now. And so we need to start taking her out, especially now, I would say, and especially since you're home, I would say taking her out at least once an hour, about on the hour, every hour. Now, the way we gauge it is we say they can usually hold it for about how many months they are, plus an hour, give or take. So, you know, so, but nighttime again is different. So even we hear younger puppies being able to hold it through the night when they're younger, which surprises me sometimes. However, that's how we're going to kind of gauge it now. Now, because she's had a UTI, we're going to go more frequent than that. And because she hasn't had to hold it, we're going to go more frequent than that. Because the idea is we want to set her up for success, of course, right? So now we're going to have to change the picture for her. We have a late start with her. So we have to change the picture with her, making sure that she understands exactly what it is we actually do want her to do. And right now she does not know that at all, except for the pee-pee pads. She does know that. So we want, she knows that sometimes. And so will she make a choice to go over and use a pee-pee pad?
Yes, she definitely does. And she knows that she gets a treat when she does it, because she'll go to the pee-pee pad and then she'll instantly look up at me and start running towards where her treats are.
Okay.
But then, yeah, and that's why I'm confused, because then there'll be times when she'll just be playing, or she'll go actually by our feet and then she'll go there. And it's almost like she like seeks out our feet, or like closer to us, and that's where she goes.
Is that pee and poop, or just pee?
Just pee. Poop, she always goes on the pads with the poop.
Oh, so she will make a choice. Oh, I need to poop. I'm going to go over to the pad and go poop. So do you think that this kind of, I mean, obviously all these more frequent accidents had to do with her UTI, right? Because it got worse.
Yeah, that's when she started that's when she started not going on the pads, is I think she just wasn't able to hold it. And we may have very negatively reacted the first couple of times, because we were so confident in her going on the pads, and then all of a sudden she would like go on the couch. And so the first couple of times she did that, we like freaked out. And then I think it turned into like, oh, I'm too scared to go in front of you. And then it was just like, okay, I can't even hold it. And that's when
and it hurts. It's horrible. You know, the UTI for them, it's really bad and horrible. So now, if she has an accident, since she is having still quite a few accidents in the day, when she has an accident, what are you doing about it?
So now we try to like go like, no, or what are you doing? But she doesn't stop. Like she'll keep going. She'll just look at us and keep going. And then I'll like try to take her instantly to the pad right after. And just put her there and say like, go pee pee here. That hasn't seemed to work. Sometimes we would like put her in a timeout in her crate after. But it just seems like when we just like say no or something, she doesn't stop. She just kind of keeps going. It doesn't seem to bother her. And that
might still be part of the UTI, it sounds like to me, you know, or if it's hard to stop it or whatever. So here's what I think about this right now, is that she's really confused. She's very, very confused about what to do. Do you have to go downstairs?
Yes, we do. We're on the 7th floor, so it's actually quite a climb.
And do you have a patio?
We do. We have a balcony.
You have a balcony. And does it have a cover on it?
A cover? No.
Like it's covered balcony, or so when it rains on the balcony?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not protected, I mean?
No.
Okay. All right. So there's a couple things. Hi, Jim, have you joined us?
Yes.
Oh, hi, Jim. Yay, you're back. You're here. Hooray. With Raja. And so, what kind of, is Raja a Yorkie?
Yes.
Raja's a Yorkie. And how old is Raja?
Yeah, 6 months or 7 months.
Oh, she's 6 or 7 months. Okay. And how long have you had her?
It's my son's, but I've had him for most of the time. 8 weeks. 8 weeks.
Oh, okay. Since he was 8 weeks old. Okay. Have you been able to follow a little bit about what we've been talking about so far with Matcha, a little bit with the potty training?
Not really.
Okay. Is Raja using pee-pee pads inside, or are you taking him outside the potty?
We got the same issue as she does, and that is 7th floor. There is a balcony. I don't know if it's covered, but when he's here with us, we have a 1-story house, and we're able to take him outside.
And will he go potty outside?
Yes.
When he's in the 7th floor, does he use pee-pee pads?
I don't know. There's puppy pads. Yes.
Puppy pads. Okay. He has a place to go potty, and you're using puppy pads, the actual pads for him to go potty. And
Yes.
does Roger use those? Does he use them? Does he pee and poop on the pads?
Yes.
He does. Okay. Does he have accidents otherwise?
Yes.
On the floor otherwise? Okay. Are you using a crate?
No.
Not at all.
No.
You have to get one, because this is going to help us potty train. Are you signed up for, were you signed up for any puppy day school, or what were you, what programs are you about to start? Do you know?
We signed up for the classes, the group classes.
Okay.
We had one before the pandemic.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I would highly suggest that you crate train, because like I was just talking with Matcha's mom about, this is going to be a very, very important potty training tool, because what both of them need to do right now is learn how to hold it. Now Matcha is doing pretty well because Matcha is holding it through the nighttime. That's good. Is Raja holding it through the nighttime?
Roger, yep.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, at night.
In the
Yes.
bed?
Yes.
Sleeping in the bed. I don't care about that, so
Right.
I'm not going to say anything. I don't care about Raja sleeping in the bed with you, but I just want to make sure that, so Raja is actually being forced to hold it. He's sleeping in the bed, and he's holding his potty for a good 7 hours or so at night.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right then. So the like we were talking about, the crate is going to help them learn to hold it. Now, for Matcha's parents, when she is confused, so this is for everybody involved, and that is that we have the most important thing, that really our whole philosophy and all the training is making sure that they understand exactly what it is we do want them to do, and setting them up for success, and being able to tell them 5 more times, you're doing it right, I like what you're doing, to every 1 time I say, I don't like what you're doing, please don't do it that way. Hi Jim, there you are. So this is very important. At this point, since both of you live on 7th floors and all that, it's very difficult if they have an accident to run them down the stairs into the grass area. So I would highly suggest, so you can do one of 2 things. Right now, they're both addicted to pee-pee pads some of the time, and then they're using the floor some of the time. So they're both confused. They don't know what's okay and what's not okay. And so it's our job to be very, very crystal clear about that. So what we have to do to try to help them change the picture and to move towards grass, I would highly suggest that you get some kind of potty patch situation. And I can send you some links to that. We have what I'm going to suggest is an extra large litter box that you can get from Amazon. And we'll send you a link to one of the ones that we like, that we use in day school a lot, because it has a lip on it. It has a lip on it. And then what you're going to do is there are many, many different puppy potty patches, you know, to buy. That's like a canine grass, you know, like fake grass kind of thing. The other very fortunate thing right now is that Home Depot is open, and you can buy a real piece of sod for like $4. So you could buy a real piece of sod and actually put that in that litter box. And so now we got grass. You know, the other thing that you can do is you can put it on your balcony. And so you can either do a litter box, or if you do now the hard thing about both of your balconies is that it's not covered. So if it rains, the sod would get completely soaked. However, one of the good things about outside is on the balcony is that a lot of times what people do is they'll put down a black trash bag, put the real sod on top of the black trash bag. You can put a 2x4 around it, or whatever you want to do to put it around it. However, at the end of 2 weeks or something, you just cut that whole trash bag up and then just throw the whole thing away. So if you use real sod, of course you pick up the poop, but that pee, I mean, you can use that for like a week, you know, depending on how much pee is on it. Now that being said, so you can buy a litter box and buy a real piece of sod, or you can buy you're just going to buy a replacement patch. if you go on Amazon and look for replacement potty patch, so you're not buying the whole system, you just need the grass itself. And then you would cut it to fit that litter box. And then what you would do, because that grass is perforated, so you're going to use your leftover pee-pee pads and put that underneath that perforated grass, because then it will soak up the pee-pee, right? And then you pick up the grass as well. And usually they have like turf cleaner and all that. Their other thing is there is something called Fresh Patch. Fresh Patch will actually deliver to you real grass, real pieces of sod and little things. They will deliver that to your doorstep, real grass. That's pretty great. It's a lot cheaper at Home Depot, but you know, the convenience is something else. So there's that. Then the other thing, there's something called Porch Potty that I like very much. And Porch Potties are meant to be for people like you who live in high rises and want to use, you know, on their balcony, something that's a little bit more permanent. So that if it is inclement weather or whatever's going on, you always have the balcony to go to. So a porch potty is a system, but it's a little bit more permanent style. I have one on my porch that my little one uses when it's raining outside. They actually also have one, they're really nice looking, and they also have one that has a little umbrella with an umbrella over it, right? So it covers it up. So that's a nice thing if you think that you want to use one. I mean, eventually you might want to, of course, you might want to say, I want them to be able to hold it until I take them downstairs. And that is going to happen probably. It's just going to take a minute because of what's happened so far. However, you may want to think about that porch potty with the cover on it for when it's raining and things like that, because that's a real difficult situation. So, or if they're sick, you know, and they're waking up in the middle of the night and things like that, which will happen. So you have all of these options. And again, if you have questions about that, you can email me and I'll go back and send you links and whatever it is you want. But those are the things that I typically will use. So if you get any kind of a potty patch, whether it be real sod or fake grass or anything like that, what you're going to do at this point is you're going to lay a pee-pee pad over half of it, because these dogs are used to using pee-pee pads right now. So I want half of it showing and half of the grass showing and half of it on pee-pee pad. And then eventually they're going to start going there and you will be able to wean the pee-pee pad off of it. But now at least we've gotten grass, right? Because pee-pee pad, we want to get off of pee-pee pad as soon as possible. The pee-pee pad works because they are drawn to absorbent surfaces. The unfortunate thing is that you've got lots of rectangular absorbent surfaces in your house, right? Like your bath mat and your kitchen mat and things like that. And so if they go on your bath mat, kitchen mat, we cannot punish them because we have just trained them to actually go on something that looks exactly like that. This is why pee-pee pads are not typically awesome. The other reason is that usually, very quickly, they learn that they're awesome toys to chew up and destroy. So that's also one of the reasons we don't use them. So what we want to do, again, is you're going to set that up because right now they both need something indoors because they are used to going indoors. So they have to have that right now. We cannot just take that away from them because it's not going to make any sense. So they're going to make the choice to be able to use that. And eventually, hopefully, they're going to be able to use that. Now, if they have an accident in the house, here's the thing. These dogs are a little bit older now. So, of course, the most important thing is making sure that they understand where it is you do want them to go. So both of you are now going outside. So now Raja can go outside. He goes outside and potties. When you take him outside, does he potty on the grass? I think
yes, on the grass.
Yes, okay. So, and then when he does that, do you throw a potty party, meaning he understands that you love it, like with treats and things?
Well, yes, we have potty party. I've been starting to, after my first class with, I think John.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay.
Might have been.
Yeah, I think we did start one, yes.
You started throwing potty parties.
Me in my pocket, a couple little treats. But
Okay.
when he cut in, that's when his grandma really gets excited and gives him the treats and the party, and he loves it.
Okay, so what we're going to do is this. In order to communicate to a dog that I like what you're doing or I don't like what you're doing, I have to catch you in the act. So this is if I want to tell you I like it or I want to tell you that I don't like it. Meaning that if it is 1 second later, it's too late because they are living right here in the moment. They are ESL students. They do not understand our English language until we take a lot of time to teach it to them. So we do not depend on language at this point. So when the dog is pottying where we want them to potty, either on the grassy patch or outside on the grass. We are going to, while they are peeing and pooping, we are going to very quietly, good dog, that's a good dog, that's a good dog, because I don't want to get too excited with the party because I don't want them to cut it off and try to come and get my treat. So I'm good dog, good dog. What I'm looking for is the booty to pop. As soon as the booty pops up, that means they're done. Then I, whee, potty, 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 liver, liver, liver. You get 3 pieces of liver every time you potty outside. Now, so much of the time that will make a big jump because they will realize, oh my God, I get paid when I go potty outside. When I get paid for doing something, when I get paid handsomely for doing something, I want to keep doing it. Yep. So again, once they start realizing that you have 3 pieces of liver in your pocket, they are going to want to cut it off. That's why you got to be real careful, and you're going to keep walking around, because if you keep walking and stimulating their senses, that's how the potty is going to happen. Right? So I don't want them like, look at me, I'm sitting, look at me, I'm sitting, look at me, I'm sitting. No, we're pottying. You don't get any attention from me until you potty outside. Okay? Now that is something that needs to happen. That's why I'm saying with Matcha, you may need to be taking her out once an hour because she doesn't understand that yet because she hasn't even been out there yet. So we need to take her out there to set to as many possibilities to set her up for success as possible, to catch her in that act, to be able to tell her, I love it so much. So right now, we're not going to, because at the end of the day, what I want them to be very, very clear on is, I love it when you potty. I love it when you potty so very much. I just love it when you potty here and not here, right? Because like you were saying with Matcha, what we never ever want to do, the danger of making them think that it's scary to potty in front of you, or it's not okay to potty in front of you, is a very hard thing to fix. So we can never, ever, ever. That being said, if you see them having an accident in the house, not on the pad or not on the patch, all you are going to do, you have to give them feedback. The feedback has to be immediate. That's why I'm saying in that very moment. So I mean mid-pee, mid-poop, you go over and all it is, you pick them up and you just go, oh, no, 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 and you just put them on the grassy patch. That's it. You just, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And you run them over there to wherever your grassy patch or your pee-pee pad is. That's it, because you can't run out your door to your yard, right? But Jim, you're saying you've got both, sometimes Raj's at grandma's house or something that does have a yard?
Yes.
And so then in that case, if you can get out to the yard real fast, then you can do that. If he starts to have an accident, you go, oh my God, and you can run outside, right? So, but if you're in the high rise, you're gonna have to be able to use your pee-pee pad or your potty or whatever it is, so that you can communicate to them, here it is where I do want you to go. Now, if you say, oh my God, you give them feedback about what it is you do want, that is no big deal because you are spending so much time, on the other hand, spending time telling them what it is you do want, right? So they're very clear. I understand that they don't like it when I pee anywhere in the house except for here, and they really love it when I potty outside. That's their favorite thing in the world, so I want to keep trying to do that. So there's that. Now here is the thing. What you must do, if you are not, what has to happen, or this will never ever work, it has to happen, meaning that if they have an accident in the house, what you have to do right now is you have to make sure that they do not have any more accidents in the house without you seeing it. Right? Because the more times they have an accident in the house without you seeing it, the more times they think that sometimes this is okay. So they're still confused, right? Sometimes it's okay. So this makes me kind of nervous of you, my owner, because I'm kind of unclear about you, because sometimes you like it when I pee inside, sometimes you don't like it when I pee over there, and sometimes I pee and nothing happens to me. So I'm confused about what's okay and what's not. So here's the thing. So that means if the puppy is never to have an accident in the house, because of course puppy's still gonna have an accident in the house, but right now you know what to do if they have an accident in the house. You run over, pick them up mid-pee, mid-poop, feedback, oh my God, no, 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 and run them to the pee-pee patch. That's what you do if they have an accident in the house. Now, if that is the case, what cannot happen is that puppy cannot have free reign without eyes on her. That's what cannot happen. Because if puppy is not in your peripheral vision, puppy is up to no good. for sure. Especially if it's quiet, puppy is up to no good. Puppy is chewing or puppy is peeing somewhere. That's what's happening. So in that case, you have to do everything you can, and I can help you make sure that you, whatever kind of boundary you can get, you have to have them boundaried so they cannot go out of your sight. This is what a crate is awesome for. You cannot keep your eyes on your puppy 24/7. You can't. Now, the good news is we all have a lot more time on our hands at home right now, so it's easier to keep our eyes on them, but they have to go in a crate. They have to, especially like a little bitty dog like Raja, because the idea is that when you have a dog like that, you want to be able to train them to take them all kinds of places with you. And if you don't train him to be in a crate, he's not going on a plane or staying in a hotel room or an Airbnb in a crate without being freaked out. So if you start teaching him this now, he's like, oh, cool, my safe, happy place, not a big deal. I can be there, no problem. I can fly in an airplane with you under the seat and I have no problem because I'm used to being in this crate. But the good news is that a crate usually will make them hold it. That's the idea. We've got to teach them to hold it right now because they're not holding it, because they have a choice wherever they go. They're just going whenever they want to. They're not holding it, except for nighttime. Yay. Both of them are holding it through the night. That's good. Okay? That's what we want. Now, we have the options of a crate. That is one way we boundary them if we cannot keep our eyes on them. We also have what we like to call a long-term confinement area. And that is something that we can build. It's just like a playpen. It's like a playpen for a dog or a puppy. And so you can order on Amazon now. They're called X pens. And so they're like, and you can buy fancier ones that are made of wood, like on front gate. They're really nice. But you make a little pen and you can put their crate in there and you can put their potty in there, or you just put chew toys in there. But it's another option that you have where you are boundarying puppies so they're not just roaming around. So you have the crate and you have their pen. We call it a long-term confinement area. So if they are going to be in the pen for any length of time, I would put the potty patch in there with them. Sometimes when they come to puppy day school and the puppies need a pen, we will put their crate and their potty patch in the pen with them. And then of course some chew toys with them. So this is another option. You got a crate, you got a pen. There are two choices. You also can do things like hands-free belt leash, which I love very much, meaning it's just a belt that is adjustable. It has a leash that attaches to it, and you attach puppy to it, and now puppy is with you, and puppy is not going anywhere else, right? So you're keeping puppy with you. Because you probably know this by now. Now, when Macha had a UTI, it's a lot harder to read body language, puppy body language, because it hurts and they just go. But you are going to start, if not already, starting to understand what potty body language looks like for your particular puppy. Meaning that usually they're not just standing there and peeing. They don't just stand there and go, oh, I'm peeing. They're usually circling, smelling. There's usually a process. Sometimes we get real lucky and they have to spin like 4 times in a row, and then I really know that you need to potty because that means you're spinning. So you're looking for those kinds of things, obviously, and looking to see what does their potty language look like, because that is something that's going to be a clue for you. If they are attached to you with a hands-free belt leash or any kind of leash, they're not going to do any potty language, right? They're not sniffing around and getting to their spot because they're here, right here with you. So here's the thing. I always, no matter what, whoever is in the house with them, if they are not in their crate or they are not in their pen or attached to you, then somebody has to have peripheral vision on them. Somebody does, whether it's you or whoever else is in the house. Now look, if the other people in your house, if you give them the responsibility, I'm going to go and take a shower, so it's your responsibility to keep eyes on puppy if you don't want to put them in the crate, and you come out and puppy has had an accident, what I want you to do is roll up a newspaper and give your partner a whack because it was their fault that puppy had an accident, not puppy's fault, right? That's their fault, okay? We don't do anything ever that causes any pain or fear for puppy with potty because we don't do that in general, but of course, like I said before, we cannot, it's so hard to change if they start to think, heaven forbid, that we don't like it when they potty. That's a big one. We want them to understand, I love it. I love potty so, so much. Just in certain places, I love potty, right? Okay. So I've just poured out a whole bunch of information. Do either one of you have questions about that? What we've just talked about? The pen, the crate, the pad, anything.
So just to recap kind of, so you're suggesting we take her out every hour outside. And then if she goes, great, we do the party and everything. And if not, just bring her right back up. And then the patch will be mostly used for just like, if she's having an accident, take her straight to it kind of thing.
Yeah, because you can't take her to the yard, right? You can't take her out there. So you have to show her where it is you do want her to go. If she's having an accident in the house, you need to go here instead. And so eventually, hopefully we'll wean off of that unless you have something on the balcony, right? When then you can maybe go to the balcony. But right now you have to have something inside because neither one of them are able to hold it, and you have to be able to go here instead.
The patch is the yard annex, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. Now what you're going to do, taking her out on the hour or taking them out, what that really is about setting them up for success, because both of them are a little bit older and both of them are able to hold it. Their bladders are more mature, especially Raj's. His bladder is a little bit more mature. He should be able to hold it for a good while now. So what you're going to do now is just like potty training a child, and that is you're going to be looking. Now, poop is a lot easier to anticipate than pee. It's a lot easier. So let's talk about that. Are you feeding them at certain times?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. How many times a day is she eating?
3 times.
3 times a day. And so how much is she eating each time?
So they started her on this like QTI, getting about like they found other stuff. So she's getting about a third of a cup every time.
Okay. So let's just talk both of you. When you first wake up in the morning, since they've both been holding it all night, you first wake up in the morning, what is the very first thing you do with puppy when you first wake up in the morning?
I'll open the crate. She's in her bedroom and like she'll instantly run outside and make it to the pad. That's the pee that she always makes on the pad.
Perfect. So that is one that you can anticipate every single morning. You need to get your flip-flop or whatever you got to do, and you got to run down there because you know it's going to happen then every single time, right? When they wake up first thing in the morning, that's a for sure thing. So you can set them up for success by going outside because you know it's going to happen every single time. Now, does she poop that time also?
No, she poops the second time.
Okay, so does Raja poop the first thing in the morning, or does he wait till after he eats?
Waits. And first thing in the morning, let me explain. My son lives in the high rise. I'm with the grandma. We have the 1-story house with the grass. But even with him or here at my house, first thing in the morning when he's in my room or I'm in his room, we go in the restroom and he is 90, and then later on in the day or the morning, like after he eats something or else we know then it's time, we might here at my house, I'll try to take him outside and that's when he poops.
Great. So you are anticipating when he poops. So basically, and so does Matcha the same thing? Do you know about how many times a day she poops?
Yeah, she usually goes 2 to 3 times.
2 to 3, okay. And Raja, how many times does he poop a day?
I'd say about 2.
2. So that's little, actually. I would usually say 3 to 4. More than 4, they're eating too much. So, but this is fine. So, but the point is that every body is different, so you don't know. So, okay, if they're pooping, then so how long does it take for them to poop after they eat their meal?
Ooh. She's been pretty varied. I would say somewhere between like 15 to 40 minutes.
That's just within the hour.
Within the hour. Okay, so here's one way that you can, so usually the small dogs are a lot easier because a lot of times the small dogs, they eat and boom, they're going potty almost, within a few minutes. Now, every body is different, so you never know. So here's what I would suggest is, because this is kind of the way that you can really anticipate poop, and that is if you write down, if you just keep a log, just a really simple log, meaning here just for 3 days in a row. If you keep a log that says, here's when they drank water, here's when they ate dinner or food, here's when they pooped, here's when they peed. If you keep a log of all of that, then if you do it just for 3 days, it's just really simple stuff. If you do it for 3 days, then you're going to see a pattern. You'll see the pattern and you'll see, okay, here's how many times a day they're typically pooping. Here's when they're typically pooping. Here's how long it's usually taking them to poop after they eat, because usually poop is pretty directly related to when they eat, right? So then what we're doing is we're helping to anticipate. We're helping to anticipate it so that you can catch it to set them up for success. That's the whole idea. Now, again, like we said, poop is a lot easier to anticipate than pee is. So, and it gets harder as it gets hotter because they drink more water. So it gets more difficult. So here's the thing. When you know that you have a full puppy, meaning you know potty because you have done, you know that what their pattern is, and you know what's going on. You know that they need to either pee or you know that they need to poop, and you're going outside to set them up for success. Now, at the end of the day, especially as it gets hotter, 5 minutes really feels like a pretty long time. So I say 5 minutes is all it's going to be. You're going to wait out there for 5 minutes. You're going to walk around on the leash, or if Raj is in the yard, let him walk around. 5 minutes. If in 5 minutes they don't do it, you are going to bring them right back in the house and put them right back in the crate. Because that is danger zone. If you know they need to potty and they have puppy ADD and they're out there chasing the squirrels or looking at the flowers and they get distracted, then if you do that and you come back inside, that's exactly the moment that they're going to have an accident. You're going to turn your head for 1 second, and that's when it's going to happen. I cannot tell you how many times I hear, we were out there forever, and then the very second we came in, they pottied. Yes. So if you know you're in danger, come in, you put them in that crate, set your watch, you say, okay, Siri, set the timer for 10 minutes. 10 minutes goes by, you take them out of the crate immediately and go right back outside. That's usually all it takes. Now, if you go outside and you go, I know we're in danger. I know you have to poop. I know you have to pee, and it doesn't happen. 5 more minutes, and if you have to, if it doesn't happen, right back in that crate. Because here's what we're doing. We're conditioning them every single time you get out of the crate, you go potty. Every single time you get out of the crate, the second you get out of the crate, we go potty immediately. Because the crate makes them hold it. If you give them any kind of free rein when you know they're full, you're going to miss it, right? And you're not setting them up for success. So the crate enables them to hold it, and that will almost always set you up for success. So let's talk about the times you're going to take them out. Of course, after they eat. You're going to take them out after they eat. You're going to start to know, it sounds like Raj's dad has a bit of an idea about how long it takes for him to poop after he eats. Maybe Macha does too. So after they eat, you're going to take them. Every time they get out of the crate, you take them potty. Every time they wake up from a nap, you take them potty. If they drink a whole bunch of water, you go, okay, 15 minutes, we're going out to potty. Now here's the thing. This happens in day school too. If you take them out to potty and it's hot, because it's going to get super hot, and then they potty, and then you come back inside and they drink a whole bunch of water because it was hot outside, well then guess what? In 15 more minutes, you got to go back out, right? Because again, I know that they just pottied, but however, they just drank a whole bunch of water, right? So those are things you have to watch for.
I noticed play times too when I was raising my pups. Man, when they get running around, all of a sudden, it's time, yeah.
After a big playtime, potty. So those are really the big times. And of course, I mean, and that's what it's going to kind of narrow down to. And you won't have to take, the only reason it's an hour thing right now is because, I'm saying on the hour, is because I want you to be able to catch them in the act and tell them that they're doing it right, because that's the most important part of everything. The second most important part is making sure they don't have an accident in the house without you seeing it in order to give them feedback. Okay? And then the third most important thing is making sure they are on a schedule and you have an idea about what is happening here. Right? You've got to, and again, look, you will see, it will happen so quickly if you do it this way. So little tiny dogs have a bad rap. People say, they're harder to potty train. I don't believe that. I think that the reason that they're harder to potty train is because their pee and poop is real little and nobody cares about picking it up. I promise you, I've never had a Great Dane parent have a problem with potty training because they are not letting it happen. You know, they're very vigilant because they do not want to clean that up. So if you do this, it will work. It will. There is both of you know where the behavior blueprints are on our website. So if you go to our website, Believe in Dog Training, there's a Connect tab. Toggle the Connect tab and it will say Behavior Blueprints. There is tons of information there. Under the puppy training, there is a potty training worksheet. It talks a lot about everything that we just spoke about. There's a lot of the same thing. You can also download a free entire PDF of my mentor's book. It's called After You Get Your Puppy. He explains the same thing. It's a lot of the same kind of ideas, obviously, because that's who I learned it from. So, but it's all there and it really does work. There is also on the press part of our website, on one of the Houston Life segments, I did a potty training segment. So that's also me kind of talking about this same stuff. I'm just saying that I've poured a lot of information into your head. Thankfully, you've both been taking notes. That's good. But now you have a lot of resources that you can go back and double check. Read it, watch it, whatever it may be to help you along. And of course, you can email me. So what are your questions?
Sorry, my husband is listening along.
That's good.
I'm not sure.
Sorry, go ahead.
Husband has to be involved too. Do you have questions?
My question, Jim, here, you talked about it, but I'm not sure how often should you feed your dog? Some people say just leave his bowl full of food and he'll eat when he's ready. What's the, I don't know.
Absolutely not, especially not now when you're potty training, right? Because obviously if you're potty training, you have to know when he ate and how much he ate. The other thing is there are dogs that are able to free feed, that's what that's called. However, there are more overweight adult dogs than you can imagine. So there are dogs that will stop themselves from eating, but most of them don't. If I left that food out for my dogs, I mean, my God, they would be sick. They just eat forever. So I like to have a schedule because the dogs love a schedule. They love it. They love everything to be the same and they love to have a schedule. So when they are puppies, usually we do 3 meals a day because they are still growing and they need so many calories. Did Raja get neutered yet?
No.
Is that happening soon? Are you planning on doing that or what's your plan with that? Do you have a plan?
I don't know if you know. No, not yet.
And so usually when they're somewhere between 6, 7, 8, 9 months, because at 6 months or 6 or 7 months, Raja is actually a teenager. He's an adolescent. So somewhere around that is when we would transfer and we'd start feeding the adult formula and go to 2 meals a day. So if you want to just feed 2 meals a day, that's fine. What are you feeding Raja? Do you know?
I don't know exactly, but it's little tidbits. They're hard food, but they're small little kibbles. Yeah.
Okay, so if you haven't already, both of you, you look on the bag and what does it, and if it says according to their weight and their age, approximately how much should they be eating. It's a difficult thing for me to say because it's weird because they actually eat more when they're puppies. They start eating less as they get older. So it's a hard thing to gauge, and every single formula is different. So those are the things, but I would suggest twice a day is typically what I would do. If you want to break it up into 3, what I would do is feed them out of a bowl for 2 times, and then the 3rd amount of kibble I would keep in my treat pouch or something and use that for daily training.
Okay, all right.
The reason I would like for you to use the entire portion of kibble for daily training, except for not yet because you're potty training. And we need to be able to anticipate the potty. That's the thing. Jim, there is also there's lots of videos, and maybe we should do one, maybe we should do a class on it, but there is on the behavior blueprints, on the useful information, there is a nice article about crate training. It's not one that I wrote. I just haven't had time to write one, so I did find one that I like a lot. And so there is an article on that to read about crate training. And then also, obviously, the pins, if you want to buy the pins, or the hands-free belt leashes. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, I have 2. So when we're taking her outside, so we have, like I said, we've taken her on a couple walks, and our hallways outside in the apartment are carpet, and so she has gone on there. So if I'm anticipating that she's about to go, can I just carry her downstairs until we get downstairs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You must, just because, of course, she doesn't know yet, so she will go. So that's just, I mean, you may not be able to carry her for that much longer, but at this point, you got to carry her and run down there and get out there as fast as you can. Yes, indeed. Okay.
And then following the food question, so with water, should we just keep the water out all day and then when do we take it away so that just, I guess,
so usually I do say leave the water out all day unless they're having an issue. Every so often we get a puppy who just is obsessed with the water and cannot stop drinking it and just will drink the entire bowl. Is that happening with Matcha?
Yes. So the past couple of weeks, she's been drinking a lot more water than usual.
And sometimes they, you know, if they're going to be water dogs, they just like the water, like they're playing in it, they're drinking in it, they're doing the whole thing in it. So yes, I like to leave it out all the time, but if you are having an issue, then yes, you need to, you know, you can take it away at certain times and you just kind of gauge it. Okay, that seems like you've had enough now, let's take it away, just so that they don't drink too much. And then you may go, okay, I'm going to take it away at like 8 o'clock at night or something like that.
That's exactly what we've been doing, is taking it away at.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a good play session or she chews on something where you may need to give her some water. But of course, again, another time to take them out is, sorry, I missed this one. You must take them out, of course, right before you go to bed, to try to make sure they're as empty as possible before you go to bed. Jim, you have a question?
Yeah, one more for me, maybe two parts. Everybody hates the coronavirus, and we don't know when it's going to be over. And can you tell us, I was enrolled with the group class, and I thought it was wonderful because I don't think Roger ever interacts with any other dog, probably first time ever. I thought he was going to be a whole but then when we had the group play, I think it was John, he was the most afraid. So I thought having them together was a wonderful thing for a young dog. My real question is, if this clears up, and when it does, I guess we'll be able to re-sign up to finish the class or start another group class. You know, I will.
Absolutely. Since you only had one, the people who only had one, we're going to start you over. We're going to start you completely over. You're not going to go start at 2. You're going to start at 1 again. So you're not going to pay again. You've already paid for it. You are the first in line. You're going to go right there. John, was that a puppy class or was that a basic obedience class?
I believe it was puppy class, and I think what we did is we had 3 really small pups, and we put them together in a play session together, while the other 2 were kind of a little bit bigger and more rambunctious. I just didn't want to scare them, you know.
Of course, of course. And so it sounds like even though Raja is a little bit older, typically our puppies age out of our puppy day school program at 6 months old, but when they're that little and they're that nervous, then we will make an exception, and especially since he hasn't been able to come. So we will want to, not only with the group class, but we will probably encourage you to sign him up for a few day schools, because that's when you drop him off and he will be able to interact all day long. It's incredibly beneficial. And we're going to try as hard as we can to get that going as soon as possible. Is Matcha already enrolled? Were you going to do day school also?
We were just going to do the puppy class, that part 1.
Okay. So if you, I mean, I'd highly recommend, if you can at all, I mean, if I think there's a 3-day package even. So just 3 days, it's incredibly beneficial. Even if you can just do 3 days, it really helps them in so many different ways, especially with their socialization. That's a big one, because right now you guys have to work twice as hard, because this is a big deal, because you can't socialize them otherwise. It's so time to get Matcha out into that world, because we live in an urban jungle, and if she hasn't been out there, it is time. It is way time. You got to start working on that stuff quick.
And with Raja in day school, there's actually a lot more dogs his size that he can come out and play with as well. You know, we won't have to put him in an X pen with a couple of dogs. He can come up and play with dogs his size.
Yeah.
John, I want to ask John. They had the 2 other little puppies were in there. One of them looked like an English Terrier. I don't know what, black and white dog.
I think it was a Jack Russell mix. Yes.
Okay, and the other one was brown. It looked like a teddy bear. What was that?
Yeah, I think it was a mini poodle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little tiny little thing. Yeah.
Anybody, the black and white Jack Russell was the smallest dog in the group,
Oh.
but the most aggressive. He was. I mean, he wanted to smell and play with everyone in the group. It was so funny. The biggest one was hiding behind me. Anyway,
Those terriers. That's
I
the
thought
way
it was
it is.
great. I was looking forward to the next class just to see what he would. I was hoping that he would interact more and maybe be less afraid. So it was great.
We will help. We will help as soon as we possibly can. But the same thing for you, making sure you're getting out into the world with Raja right now. I mean, that's the only thing we can do. I did a virtual class on in-home socialization today. But these virtual classes, all we're trying to do really is focus on ways that you can do the socialization and enrichment activities and fun stuff in the house, because you gotta be working on that, because we can't do anything else. So as many of these classes as you can sign up for, I highly recommend it, because we're doing a lot of really fun stuff, and it's going to be so beneficial because you guys, because you can't do the normal stuff, you gotta work twice as hard. You have to. So remember, the 3 things that are most important right now for these pups: the potty training, of course, your biggest priority, you gotta do that. Make sure you are leaving them alone during the day for at least one time, at least one 15 to 20 minute increment, to make sure that they learn to be alone. If they don't learn to be alone, you're gonna have a problem. Okay, I would also highly suggest that you leave them in the crate when you are home for small increments of time, at least one time a day. The other one that I would recommend is neither one of you were in my class yesterday, but what we do is so if you did the first puppy class, you did the kind of pass the puppy where you're touching all their body parts and all that. We want to do that. It's called creating huggable puppies, touching all their body parts. And then the third thing is to make sure that you are getting them as much mental exercise and mental stimulation as you possibly can. It's imperative that you do that right as much as you can, because that is going to help you so much, because we can't do the normal stuff. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah, one more.
So I'm sorry, the crate, so you said like maybe leave her while we're at home, leave her in the crate for like a few hours, I guess is what you're saying, like to stretch.
No, it doesn't even have to be that. I would say small increments of time, like 20 or 30 minutes.
Okay, and then if I know that she's due for like a pee or a poop, then put her in the crate until I take her out?
If you know that she's due for a pee or poop, take her out first.
Okay.
If she doesn't pee or poop and you know she's due, then you're gonna put her back in the crate for 10 minutes, because she's gonna hold it, and then take her back out.
And then if she goes when she's out, then when we come back, she doesn't have to be in the crate.
She doesn't have to be in the crate. So an empty puppy has more free reign. Yes, an empty puppy has more free reign. However, they cannot have complete no eyes on me kind of free reign, because you still have to be, just in case, right, catch them in the act. But yes, an empty puppy, I'm a lot more comfortable with, I'm just kind of peripheral vision, because I know you're in. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Right, thank you so much.
Comment on that. Comment. Stephanie.
Yeah, yes.
Keep your eyes on your peripheral vision. Me and my wife were in the kitchen, and he's running around, and I said, "You know where he is? No. You know where he is? No. You don't know where he is." I guarantee you, he's under the dining room table, and he has pooped. So anyway, you're right. You've got to know where he is.
Right. They're up to no good. So that's a great thing, because you just told me, a very specific time that it happens. That means you can anticipate it and prevent it from happening.
We can log it. Yeah, we need to log it.
Yeah. Okay. Email me with questions or anything like that. If you feel like you're having a very hard time, we can schedule a short private one. This was very lucky because there was only 2 of you today, so that was really lucky that we could do that because it was kind of private. But of course, let us know anything that you need, and keep your fingers crossed. We're going to be able to get some stuff started for you guys as soon as we can.
We'll do it. We're going to continue to look at the website for classes and tutorials like this. And I got to thank Courtney Zavala and Houston Live, because otherwise I don't think I'd be sitting here right now.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you. We're actually doing a segment on Tuesday on creating enrichment activities out of household items. So we'll be on Houston Life on Tuesday. But thank you for saying that. It really does. I will thank her again for helping us so much. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Enjoy this.
We'll see you soon. Keep it well. Okay. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.